It did something. I was thinking
I
it
did
might not be
something. I
doing
did
what it was
something.
supposed to do.
Morning, everyone.
Oh, do you ever do your computer and it just sort of sits there and you're like, is this really doing what it's supposed to do? Oh, gosh. Okay, let me get this going, but I got to turn the volume down there and let me go to um, my profile. No, not just open the image. I need to open the profile.
Welcome, everybody.
Oh,
We're getting
yes.
situated.
Yeah, we're getting where you all can see us because right now you probably can't see us. There, I found the link in my profile to the video, and I'm going to share it to the group. Okay, and I'm going to put, please click into the video to um, to comment and see resources we post. Okay, let's see. There. So that should be in the group feed very soon. And we do monitor the comment feed on the video. We tried to monitor both of them, and it was crazy. So if you're just now joining us, we are thrilled to have you with us for Gardening Tips Live. My name is Amy Hahn, and I'm a Knox County Master Gardener, and I'm joined by my friends and fellow Master Gardeners, Brian Townsend, Lee Cheek, who's one of our new students, and Toby Johnson.
Hey, guys.
And we are all here on this nice, warm morning, which is not seasonal for this time of year. And we'll talk more about that later. And I need to take a drink of water. If you've been watching us the past couple of weeks, you'll know my voice this week is better than last week, but it's still not 100%. Oh.
Is it allergies, Amy?
I think it's a combination of, yeah, I think it's largely allergies, but some of it might be a little reflux, and I'm doing stuff to deal with that.
Oh, okay.
I've had that affect
Pollen
my
on my
voice
car.
before. Yeah, so I think that's some of it.
Yeah.
I don't know for sure, and it's hard to know 100% on that one. And I'm going to find our video, and one of the things that helps people find us is I'm going to do the @everyone in the group so that people can find the video. One of the things that's happening that's pretty significant on our end is Facebook has changed their policy. And so after 30 days, this actual video is going to disappear. And so we are starting to download the videos and upload them to the Knox County Master Gardener YouTube channel. And we set up, there's a playlist called Gardening Tips Live 2025 there. And so, if you would like to, and it'll actually, if you subscribe to that page, it'll actually notify you when that goes live. You can comment there, but I can't guarantee that we'll be watching the comments there, consistently, just because of time and energy. So if you are seeing this on our new our new YouTube feed later, be sure to go to the Knoxville Area Gardening Tips group if you have comments
In Facebook.
in Facebook.
Yeah.
And so you can ask questions there. I don't know if the whole video post goes away or just the video. We're not sure how that's going to look right now, but we'll let everyone know when we
Does
find
the
out.
chat does the chat show Amy in Facebook or in YouTube, or are we trying to still figure that
Well, what
out?
we're doing is I'm posting in the description section all the links.
Okay.
So it
Okay.
might take us a few days to get the links posted in there, but we are going to try to get those posted because I think the links are one of the most important things, that we're giving everyone. Yeah. Okay. Is it time to start the slideshow?
Sure.
I think it is. Okay. So let me get that started. It's going to be a little more scattered than most times, but it will still work. Let me get everything on. Did I hear the right screen?
Yeah.
I think it did. Okay. Okay, so as many of you know, we have gardeners that are in many places at many times. And so this is actually Sid Lessinger on the left. And oh gosh, who's on the right? She's one of our new students. I can tell by the name tag she's wearing. Um, and so they are at Norwood Library, and they're about once a week. I think it's generally the second Saturday. And so the library actually posted this about them and showing their table. So I thought that was really fun. We also have a master gardener who sets up at Farragut Library some Saturdays. I'm trying to get those on the Knox County Master Gardener calendar so you'll know when we're which places. And also the farmers markets are going to be starting up full blast pretty soon. And so we'll have many tables there. And this month we have tables and master gardeners at lots of events. It is a little overwhelming for me right now. Okay. Um, Totally different subject. I said we'd be a little scattered today. This is an amaryllis that someone gave me, I think, last year. And I really just put it in a relatively sunny window and water it occasionally during the rest of the year. And look what it gave me. Just a
Beautiful.
beautiful. And it's got two stems and each of them has 5 blossoms on it. So it is a pretty amazing amaryllis. Just really pretty. So Barbara, thank you, though you'll probably never watch this show. Okay, this is the coral honeysuckle, and it's now really, its buds are really opened up, and you can see the full flowers. They're small trumpet-shaped flowers. They don't have that honeysuckle smell that the Japanese honeysuckle does, but they are more important for native wildlife, and they are a native plant. And then you can see a nice non-native that I have. My lilac behind there is blooming. Okay, this is, last week I showed some pictures of some rabbit eye blueberries blooming. Now the northern high bush blueberries are in full bloom. This is the Virginia bluebells. If you saw the picture promoting this, talking about us being here today, that was last week, and they were all pink. And so now they've all gone blue with just a little bit of pink. They are a really nice native, but they are one that comes up and then dies totally to the ground, so you don't even know it's there in the summer.
We call those ephemerals, I think.
It's right, spring ephemerals.
Yeah.
And then Lee, this is yours.
Yeah, that's so I picked my asparagus yesterday, and then this
Oh,
morning
lovely.
I went out and you can see how tall they're getting
Yes.
just in a day because of all the warmth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when it's hot, it goes fast.
Yeah.
Okay, that is my brain work. Horseradish. And one of the things I will tell you is if you're gonna plant horseradish, plant it in a place that's not very well improved. I planted it just in clay soil that hadn't been improved. It has grown really nicely. I can harvest it once a year. and get a good bit of horseradish for my personal use. And it doesn't, it's been there for like 5 years, and it doesn't feel like it's taking over the world. And I think if you plant it, you hear stories about horseradish trying to take over the world. And I think that's if you put it in really nice, improved soil. So I would say if you're going to plant horseradish for your personal use, just put it in a place you're not gonna give it much gentleness and just let it tough it out. Um,
Is this sun or shade, Amy?
it's part sun. It's really fairly close to my compost bins, which might not be a good idea, but it is shaded by the compost bins for part of the day. And one of the cool things about it, you can always tell horseradish when it's first coming up. So let me zoom into its new leaves. Its new leaves look like this. They're sort of weird looking. So the first leaves it puts out
Oh, interesting.
are like just the ribs.
Huh.
Yeah. And so I could always tell when the horseradish is coming up. Because it does look a lot like curly dock, just the way the plant looks.
How do you know when to harvest?
You harvest when it's dormant. So
So
I
when the
actually
leaves
didn't get,
die back, then
yeah,
you
the
pull
leaves
up
die
the
down in the winter.
and then you pull up
So
the root.
October, November, well, you don't pull it up. You take a deep shovel and you dig it up.
Right.
Because if you tried to pull, you would
It'll break.
break it a
But you
lot.
don't take all of it because then it won't come back.
Right. If I really wanted to keep it in control, I would dig all of it and replant some of it.
Got it. Mm-hmm.
That is the really well managed way of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But as you know, I don't always actually do best practices in my own garden, and I don't think everyone does everywhere
That
Yeah.
looks
in their
like
own
you have really
garden.
nice dirt right there. That nice dark soil.
Yeah, but if you go an inch or so down, you're into clay.
Okay.
So it is really hard to dig these.
Yes.
Got
Actually,
it.
probably when I do them, I will probably use my broad fork
Yeah.
to loosen it, really deep. And then I'll go in with my hands and, work the roots out.
So is the horseradish more spicy than what you would get in the store, or how's the taste?
It's very similar, and the spiciness has to do with okay, so it's got like two different chemicals in it, like garlic does.
Mm-hmm.
And when you crush it or chop it, those two chemicals mix. And with horseradish, if you add vinegar, like right when you first mix it, it's not very strong.
Uh-huh.
But if you let it work, it'll be stronger.
Oh,
So
interesting.
yeah, so it's like choose your own adventure.
Oh,
And you have control over it. So I usually wait just a little bit. I don't wait forever. And it is advisable to like if you're doing it in a food processor or something, if you can, even though the food processor probably says not to use it outdoors, do it outdoors. Because, even if you let it do just a little and get a little bit on the spicy side, the vapors that come off are extreme.
oh, interesting.
Yeah. Okay, this is
You need
another
gloves for
crop.
your eyes. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be careful with your eyes because and it'll clear your sinuses, immediately. Okay, so this is another crop that I've planted in recent years, and it is living up to what I was told about it being aggressive and readily seeding. It's called sochan or cut leaf coneflower, also called green-headed coneflower. And you can see that nice little snail there. So that's what the damage is on it, is probably snail damage. Um, it's an edible crop that was very important to the Cherokee in this area. So it's an indigenous crop, and they eat it as a green. So this is about the perfect stage to start harvesting it, early spring. and I tried some last year, and it was very good. I really liked it. I liked it better than spinach. It's maybe
Huh.
spinach with maybe just a tad of celery flavor, but not real strong. And also that there's a certain flavor that aster family plants have. I know the Japanese use an aster family plant, in some of their dishes. And there's just a certain flavor, and it has that flavor, but it's not real strong in the spring.
Is it a perennial?
Yes,
Back every year? Where did
it's a
you get it?
perennial and it reseeds.
Oh.
And it gets, when it's flowering, it gets to about 8 or 10 feet tall. So it's a pretty significant plant. I have it in an area where there's a lot of competition. So I don't think it's going to be a problem there. But if you're a gardener who wants control, who likes a lot of order and not a lot of serendipity, which I do like, um, it probably isn't the plant for you. But you could solve a lot of it by cutting off the flowers before they go to seed, because I think most of what I'm seeing is not the plant itself expanding. I think it's what's seeded. So that's, I think what we're seeing mostly. Okay, this is my pear tree. It looks like it's set a lot of fruit. Um, said we were going to talk more about the weather, and it's supposed to, so far at my house, it is predicted to go down to 33 in a few days. Um, at my house, it always goes colder than what is predicted by a couple degrees. So before we end the show, we're going to look up what's called critical temperatures. That's what the botanists call it. It's the temperature at which the bud or flower will die and you won't get fruit. So there's critical temperatures for blueberries, and it depends on the stage of development of the flower into the fruit. And so, at certain points in the bud opening, it's more tolerant of cold, and there are certain places where it's less tolerant. And so we'll look at that before the show's over. We will look at those critical temperatures. Oh, and if you're watching, be sure to put something in the comments and let us know you're there. Okay, and this is Lee's picture.
Yeah. This is Lycopotus virginicus, which is horehound mint. It's a native and it loves water and it propagates really well in water. And I'm propagating this for repairing a creek bed at the Collier Preserve.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And propagation is just another term for making more plants. So you can propagate by cuttings, you can propagate by seed. So you can propagate by splitting a plant. So it just means making more plants. Okay, this is, I showed you the picture of, the cups where I'd planted my pea seeds. So some of them have sprouted. With it, if we go, okay, so this coming week, the temperatures are going cooler. If they stay cool, the peas will be happy and they will grow well. If it stays with temperatures in the upper 70s and 80s, they will not do well at all. And so we'll see what the weather does in the coming month or two. Let's see. Oh, I took this one. Okay, poison ivy is just now starting to come out, but this is not poison ivy. I know it's 3 leaves, but this is a small tree called a box elder. And one of the things about box elder is everything is very green. Can you see the green trunk there? So green, um, and just the leaves are very even. And it's just what is it? There's a way of how it's growing that's different than poison ivy would grow. But one thing about poison ivy is poison ivy will have a lot of red where the leaves come together right now as it's just coming out. And so it's very distinctive from the box elder. So the box elder is solid green and with green bark. It is one of the few trees that when it's pretty young, it'll have green bark. And so you can tell it. But a lot of times, when the seedlings sprout, they sprout with the three leaves. And so it is a little hard to say, is this box elder or is this poison ivy? And if in doubt, I opt for protecting myself because you know what? If I wear gloves or take precautions pulling up box elder seedlings, I won't have a problem. But if I don't take precautions and pull up poison ivy seedlings, there's a problem brewing there. But so this is box elder. It is one of the poison ivy mimics. Let's see. Okay, this is Lee's photo.
Yeah, so we have coming up things that are blooming a little early. Yep.
Do you know what this one is?
Oh, I just forgot the name. That's
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's a perennial that
Yeah.
comes up every year.
Is it a catmint?
No,
No, okay.
no, it's got spiky flowers.
Okay.
And
If you remember, you can tell us.
okay, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty.
The purple queen's coming up early. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, does that make it if we have a really hard winter, or do you
No.
know? Okay.
Yeah, so we, it'll survive a frost, but it won't survive a freeze.
Okay.
But it's a perennial that comes back every year.
Okay. So you had that one outside all winter?
Yep.
It's planted in the ground.
Yep.
But if we had a hard winter, it might not come back.
Well, it depends on how hard the winter is.
Yeah.
So I've had purple queen in my yard forever. And we've
Okay.
had some hard winters,
Okay. Well, good.
but it's coming up earlier than usual.
Yeah. Well, we've had these warm days. It's
Mhm.
tricking things.
It is.
Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah, so all my tulips are blooming and they're starting to melt with the
Right.
heat. Yes.
Because
Yeah,
it's so hot.
it is hot.
Oh, Margaret Lane says blue salvia.
Yeah, yeah, it is. She's
Yeah,
right.
okay, thank you, Margaret.
Yeah.
Oh, sometimes we just have blank space.
We do. She's
And
so right.
this made me think of something. There's what is it? People sometimes, okay, this phrase I've heard that the best fertilizer is the gardener's shadow. And there's some truth to that.
Mhm.
When the gardener is regularly out in the garden, you'll notice what's going on and you'll be able to see when there's problems and take care of them before they get to be big problems.
And this is a whole field of milkweed.
Oh, nice.
Swamp milkweed and common milkweed. Yeah.
I think you have some close-up pictures of it.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
As we go in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and there's some early iris.
Irises, yeah.
Yeah. And I don't like it when we have the irises blooming when we're having hot temperatures.
Yeah.
Because they fade just really quickly.
Yeah, they do.
So hopefully, and this is one of mine. This one's actually a variety called Bottled Sunshine.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Because I've always heard that growing tulips is difficult here. So what did you do, Lee? Or what kind of variety did you choose, or what did you is there a reason why it's working for you?
Well, so we've had some if we have cold temperatures, my tulips do fabulous. So when it dips down to the 20s and 0, it's happy. They're not happy when we have a warm winter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I noticed yours aren't the super fancy, fluffy, ruffled tulips, or
yeah, I didn't.
They're more like
fancy. Yeah.
Darwin tulips,
Brex basic. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I know some of the Darwin tulips actually do settle in really nice, and if they're in the right microclimate here. But there are many, many tulips that just don't come back here. Okay, back to the irises, and then there's more tulips, and
And also in front is the my Lenten roses,
yes,
hellebores. And then I'm going to show you a little seedling
okay,
because somebody asked about the seedlings.
okay, that's something else.
Yeah, that's the Lenten roses seedlings.
Okay,
A lady had asked about it in the
yeah,
on Facebook. Yeah.
okay,
And then this is a close-up of the swamp milkweed.
okay. Gosh, that's big for now.
Yes, yeah, I've got some of them that are almost 3 feet tall.
Oh gosh,
Yeah.
yeah, your microclimate is definitely warmer than mine
Mhm.
because I'm not seeing any of my milkweeds yet.
And then this is the Christmas ferns that are coming up.
Oh, pretty.
That's a native fern.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah. And then this is a horde milkweed. Not milkweed. Horde sunflower.
Oh, nice.
And it was in the endangered species
Mm.
in 2012, in
Oh,
2014.
right.
And then this is sweet woodruff. Yeah.
Okay.
What's the sunflower called again, Lee?
World sunflower.
World.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and sweet woodruff. I
Mhm.
think I tried to plant that once and it didn't take, but sometimes it takes a couple
It
times.
needs shade
Yeah.
and it doesn't always bloom. And so
Hmm.
it's unusual, but it's a lovely ground cover.
Yeah, that is really pretty.
Mhm. Yeah.
And that's the end of our slideshow for today. So I'm going to go to, let me go to some weather because we said we would talk about weather. Um, this is actually a weather forecasting site that I like pretty well. Let's make sure. No, I don't need to be in Luperon, Dominican Republic. I need to be in Knoxville. Okay, so this is Knoxville, and this is today's forecast. And gosh, it's going to be hot today. 87 degrees. That's almost summer. The plants are going to be so confused. And the people are, what is it? People are getting sort of ahead of themselves a bit. Because we talked about it last week. Oh gosh, they have changed the forecast. Do you see this temperature listed here? That says 30 degrees for Tuesday night. That's actually probably Monday night, Tuesday morning. Let's see. So at 30 degrees, that is going to be a temperature you really can't protect tomatoes and peppers if you have them planted outside. So, you know, what is it? I know all the garden centers have the tomatoes and peppers and the tender summer plants out now. You can buy them, but don't plant them yet. Because if they're exposed to this kind of temperatures, they very well might just freeze. But another possibility is they will be set back really badly. You could buy them, but bring them in when the temperatures get under 50 for peppers and basil, under 45 for tomatoes. So that is, what you want to think about. Wait, there's two Brian Townsends in our,
Well, the other thing, our
yeah,
average last frost date
yes,
is the 22nd, I believe, of April, and that's when it's 50-50 chance of frost, right?
right. Yeah, I know. We were looking at it last week, and let me stop sharing here or find the right button. Okay. So last week we were looking at things, and what we found, I think Brian's having some trouble with his sound. What we found looking at things last week is the 28th of April is now our 10%
Oh,
chance of
okay.
frost date. So we have two Brians, and Lee had to head out. She's going on a field trip for our Master Gardener students at one of our projects, the Knoxville Botanical Garden today. So on the 28th of April, we still have a 10% chance of frost.
I'm putting in the chat a chart, link to a chart that has the percentages and the dates.
Yeah, there's a good one. What is it? The National Gardening Association
Yep.
has really good information there.
So if you're not in Knoxville, just go to that website and plug in your local town and it will tell you. So
Yeah.
it's telling you the temperature in the fall and the spring and the
Well, it also
percentages.
explains what those mean really well. I
Yeah.
thought that was a really good website.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we
So
looked
it's
at it.
saying the lot 10% is for the last 32 degrees. It kind of does percentage and also
Yes,
degrees,
right.
which is
Well, and
super.
at the 10% chance of below 32, you can look ahead in the calendar,
Yeah.
for that 10-day forecast.
Yeah.
And by the time you're at the end of that 10-day forecast, you're probably past a chance of frost.
Yeah.
But I do usually wait until May to plant my tomatoes and peppers.
Yeah, it's not only the frost chance, it's the temperature of the ground,
Right.
the soil, they like warm, especially peppers, like really
Hmm.
peppers are one of the plants that really like warm
They like
soil.
heat.
You
Yeah.
can do things though to warm up your soil, like you can put black
Right.
plastic over your soil as long as you don't have anything under there you're trying to grow
Hmm.
and heat it up.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
you can warm it up quicker.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we don't have a lot of rain predicted. We do have rain Gosh, they're saying like it almost 2 inches tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so that's quite a bit. Um, I'm not liking what's happening with our weather patterns recently. Not that I'm in control of them. Um, but it does seem like we're having more extreme weather events. And the statistics do show that nationwide.
Yeah.
That there's an increase in more extreme weather events. Um, what is it? Larger rainfalls at a single time, and then longer periods with no rain. And that is hard on the landscape and your plants. Let's see. So, um, what is it? Don't get ahead of yourself. Also, with us having these unseasonably warm temperatures, they're saying by a week from, okay, this coming Monday, the high is supposed to be 54 and the low is 35. And then a week from Monday, the high is 82 and the low is 57. So that is going to be hard on plants. Let's see. Let me look up. The other thing we said we'd talk about is critical temperatures. So let me see what temperatures for pear. Oh, here we go. This isn't from our local area, but the information still stands, if that makes sense. Um, this is critical temperatures, and it's showing some other things that I need to hit dismiss on. So let me share my screen again.
I'm going to put to Amy, we were talking about extreme weather.
Yes.
NOAA has this fantastic chart
Oh,
that
nice.
shows billion-dollar disaster events from 1980 to 2024. Um, and they adjust it for inflation and whatnot. But you can see, you can really see that the chart and it will show you, and it shows wildfires, storms, everything. I'm just going to link to it. It's
Oh,
very
cool.
interesting. But, as Amy said, there's data that backs this up.
Right. Okay, so I shared the link to this, but now I'm going to share the actual chart. So this is the critical temperatures for fruit trees. And so, like right now, my pear tree is in the post-bloom stage. And so they're saying for pears, 28 degrees, you get 10% kill, which actually I wouldn't mind because it's overset fruit. At 24 degrees, you get 90% kill of your buds, of your developing fruit. And you can see as you look at the chart, there are some stages. Well, there aren't any stages on pears that it's more vulnerable, but let's look down here. So these are different fruits and their vulnerability to freezes at the different bud stages. So you have the stage where the bud is just swelling, where just a little white is showing, where some green, and they're getting progressively more and more open. So this is really helpful, if you're growing fruits. There's also, let me look up critical temperatures. On blueberries, because I think that is a more important one right now. Okay. I think this is a similar chart to the other one. Yes. Okay, it's laid out a little differently, so it's harder to see. But you have the different bud stages and the temperatures. And so right now, mine are in full bloom. And they said at this stage, they can tolerate 28 degrees. And we're predicted to go down to 30, and I always get a couple degrees colder here. So the only temperature time they're more vulnerable is when they're just starting to form fruit. And that says damage can occur at 32 degrees.
When they're fully,
Yeah,
or when the,
go ahead.
so can you repeat that, Amy? So when it's in full bloom, that's when they're most vulnerable.
Well, actually, they're saying, when they're in full bloom, it's not as vulnerable as when the blossom parts start falling off and you can see the green fruit.
Got it.
But that's the most vulnerable stage. And so with them blooming this early, there's
Right.
definitely the potential for damage on our blueberry crops this year. Because
Is
it
there
says
anything, if people cover their blueberry plants, will it matter?
it very well could help by a couple degrees, and that might be all you need
Right.
for this, because it's not likely to stay at that temperature long. So I might pull out some sheets and some blankets. You don't want to cover them with plastic. Plastic doesn't help with the temperature, but a fabric will help hold in the warmth. And so, if we're just getting down into, like just hitting 30, a little bit of cover might help. And so I might actually do that if my schedule allows.
If
But let
they
me
can
pull
get,
up. Yeah, go, Brian. Are you there?
howdy,
Hi.
Okay. What were you going to say, Brian?
I was gonna say if they,
We hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
um,
He might not be able to hear us.
turn this off right here.
Mhm. Now we can't hear you, Brian. because you have both things turned off.
Can you hear me?
Now we can hear
Yes.
you.
Yes.
Okay. I'm getting feedback from my phone.
Oh no. Oh,
I just threw my
technology.
phone away. Um,
Okay, go ahead, Brian.
if they can get to a nursery, they look for some frost cloth.
Yes, that'll work too.
Um,
But be sure to take it off the next day when it warms up,
yes.
because you can also cook your plants accidentally. And that is never fun. So,
I got a warning from my server,
okay.
Xfinity.
So what were they telling you?
The joy of
Uh,
On the way, I
technology.
can't find it.
okay.
Um, they're giving warnings about this upcoming weather, and
Hmm.
they're saying that potential for network breakdown,
Uh-huh.
problems with that, power outages and stuff like this right here. So
Hmm.
I posted that to our welcome post last night.
Okay.
So charge your phones. Is that what you're saying, Brian?
No, I want to burn my phone.
No, don't burn your phone.
Now
Sounds
I
It's got
couldn't
a
get
lot
my
of
Bluetooth
plastic
to
in
work,
it.
and now
No.
I'm getting echoes.
Oh no.
So I've got Zoom on my phone and on my laptop.
Well, we're hearing you through your laptop right now, but not through
Okay.
your phone. But are you hearing us through your phone?
That's what I'm not sure of.
Yeah.
I'm getting Bluetooth. I'm getting it the volume um through my Bluetooth on my hearing aids, but up here on the top of the our thing right here um announces me my audio is turned off, but down here at the bottom it's turned on, it's working.
I don't know what's going on.
I
Oh.
That's why I threw it on my phone on the couch so it would
And
bounce
apparently
instead of,
Susan Leetzen is having trouble finding us.
oh,
Let me tag her. Um,
but we do. Uh, I am concerned for everybody's gardening and stuff right there. But I warned everybody last night to check with their local favored weather app.
right.
Uh, Keep up
Yes.
on theirs because we have so much. I think you mentioned that earlier about microclimates.
Yes.
Uh, so
We have so many microclimates, and
yes,
that's why it's helpful to have your own rain gauge and
yes,
your own temperature sensor of some sort, a thermometer, so that you can what is it? Look at
compare.
how what's really happening
Right,
in your space compares to what the forecasts are.
right.
It's like I know I regularly get a couple degrees colder than the forecasted temperature where I am. And that is just very, very normal. But some people will probably, what if I were on the other side of the ridge, which is just the other side of the circle that my neighborhood is, I would probably have different conditions. When you have a ridge and valley system, it can be that different. And what is our part of East Tennessee is a ridge and valley system. So whether you're on the top, middle, or bottom of a ridge, or whether you're on the more the south side or the north side of the ridge, it can make a lot of difference. And Brenda, welcome. That's how you said hi. What is it? Hopefully we get the issues worked, if folks are having issues listening or watching. Oh no, look, Susan's having trouble. So she was commenting in the thread on the group. So she found it, but she wasn't able to click into the video, so I'm not sure what was going on there. Okay. Let's see. So some other things that are going on is next week, Dogwood Arts is having their featured garden tours, which gives you an opportunity to tour some gardens that you normally can't go into. There are 3 gardens on the tour this year. One of them is Gaytop, which is God Answers Our Prayer garden. And it's Dr. Solomon's garden, and it's near the Tennessee River, near downtown Knoxville. And it is nestled into the terrain of that garden. There's a lot of ups and downs in the terrain there. And it really is just a really beautiful garden. Actually, all of them are beautiful, but they're very different. The other garden you can tour is the Savage Garden, and that's more in the Fountain City area. And it is a historic garden from the Savage family. They did have some trees come down in the past year, so it's going to look a little different than it has in previous years. And then the other garden is a garden that's typically been open the whole month of April. But what is it? Mr. Baxter passed away in the past year, and so they're doing things a little differently. It was his passion to have the garden open in April. And so they are going to be part of the featured garden tours next weekend. And so if that's one of your favorite gardens, or if you have never seen it before, I would encourage you to get out. They're open Saturday and Sunday. And I think the weather is supposed to be good. Let me check because I still have the weather open. Yeah, as what's predicted now, the weather will be beautiful with highs. The high Saturday is supposed to be 66, not this Saturday, next Saturday. And then the high on Sunday is supposed to be 73. And no rain is predicted. And so that should be beautiful weather to be out in those gardens and explore them. I know Dogwood Arts does ask a small donation, but but they're just beautiful, beautiful places. So hope to see you. If you see any of our master gardeners, and we'll be wearing these Dayglow safety vests, be sure to come up and say hi. And if you have any gardening questions, if they don't know how to answer them, they'll know how to point you to folks or a way to get in touch with folks to get an answer to your questions. Oh, thank you, Paula. And this weekend, there's a bunch going on. UT Gardens is having their spring plant sale. And so we will have we probably do have a master gardener table set up there right now. We don't always, but so we're trying it this year. And so if you see the table, be sure to talk to Pam and say hi, who's the lead there. And if you have any gardening questions, but it is a pretty amazing plant sale. And they do have, if you look online, they do have a plant list related to them, though some of the more unusual plants are probably sold out at this point. But UT Gardens, and if you go explore the gardens too, because they are probably just beautiful this time of year. And then what is it? Another thing going on is Tree Fest Knoxville at gosh, I can't remember the park it's at, and I'm supposed to be there later today. Tree Fest Knoxville, Caswell Park. And so and Toby, I'll post the info on that because I just got to it.
Okay. I put the plant sale in.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Paula, for looking for our table. Yeah, it'll actually be on the, well, they were talking about a couple different places they might put it, but it should have a sign that says gardening questions answered here on the back of the canopy. So, we'll see how that is. See what happens. I'm actually not going to be there, but I will be at the Tree Fest Knoxville. I'm supposed to be set up by noon, so I will be heading there before too long. What is it? Is there anything else we need to talk about today?
High winds are gonna start blowing in here very soon.
Okay, so protect your container plants and any seedlings or anything like that that could be damaged by winds, right?
Yep.
What, Amy, next week,
Yes.
I think I'm going to be hosting.
Yes, I think you will.
Yeah, and next week I'm going to share. I was just in London,
Oh, lovely.
and of course it's early spring in the UK, but I have some pictures about and I'm going to show a lot about garden sort of architecture with
Oh,
with
beautiful.
trellising and things like that. And then I went to an amazing garden called the Chelsea Physic Garden that's been
Ooh.
around since the 1700s. And it is a garden that's focused on wellness and medicinal plants
Oh,
from
cool.
around the world.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just going to show pictures, and that's what I'm going to do next week.
Oh, that'll be lovely.
Yeah. So hope you
Yeah.
all join me. I don't know who's joining me. Brian, are you going to join me? I think nobody else is going to be able to. It's just
I
going to
don't
be us.
know. It might be.
You're stuck with me.
Uh-huh. So, but one of the things I love about English gardens and gardens in the UK is the creative ways that they use plant material to
Yeah.
trellis.
Oh,
And
Susan found us.
yay,
Yay.
Susan. So that's what I'm going to be sharing next week. So if you're interested in looking, and then I just, took some random pictures when I was out and about. Everything is, early spring right now. So it's a lot about narcissus and things
Uh-huh.
like that. So, there's not everything's in full bloom yet, but they're also so good at like doing potted plants and, so I'm going to show a little bit of that as well. Some of the
Oh,
parks.
good.
So that's what I'm going to do next week.
Okay, that sounds wonderful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'll be fun.
because what is it? There will be many, many master gardeners at the different featured gardens.
Yeah, so you can either join me live
Yeah.
or watch the video later.
Oh, and we'll also, Knoxville Botanical Garden is having their plant sale next week.
Oh, let's put that
So,
in the chat too. I'm gonna get
and
it.
I might be there in the afternoon. I don't know for sure. So I'm not sure where exactly I will be next weekend. I will not be here, but I will be somewhere,
Yes.
either in one of the featured gardens or at the Knoxville Botanical Garden, or I might be doing a little bit of both. So we'll see how that goes for next week.
I'll be
And
top.
you'll be at Gay Top. Okay. Yeah, that
I'll
is
be doing the Dixie Lee
you'll be doing
indoor
Dixie
farmers
Lee
market, the
Farmers
last one,
Market.
and then I'll be breaking early
Right.
from there and then going down to Gate Top.
And is that their last week at the Senior Center, Farragut Senior
Yes.
Center, or Farragut
Yes.
Community Center?
Community Center, yes.
Yeah. And then they'll be at, and then
And
the
the following
19th,
week will be at Renaissance
they'll be
Plaza.
at Renaissance Plaza. Okay. Sometimes it's hard to keep it all straight. And then I also think not this coming week, but the next week, Ebenezer Farmers Market. I think they actually start this coming week on Tuesday afternoons. And so the master gardeners are there the third Tuesdays. Lots of logistics. And so, we'll get those all figured out, hopefully. And if we don't, we don't. And I think we're going to call it a show for today. Thank you all for joining us. And have a great week and enjoy your gardens. And enjoy the days we do have nice weather and also the days we have cool weather. Talk to you later. Happy gardening, everyone. Bye.